really. It's a weird dynamic the way they oftentimes tell us what they're going to do before they do it to us. It's their little power play, you know, the master telling the slave, okay, I'm going to kick your rear end, I'm going to whip you 50 lashes, and you're going to stand there and take it and ask for more.
Yesterday, we showed some of the Rothschilds wearing Baphomet necklaces at balls, you know, dressed in fine gowns with big chains around their neck with Baphomet, you know, horned devils. And, you know, there were a bunch of people in tuxedos, and they're wearing big devil necklaces. I mean, they really wear this on their sleeve.
Yes, and I've been down there in Napa Valley and taken a tour of the different mansions, Mondavis, Rothschilds next door, and occasionally they'll give tours. And when you take a tour of the Rothschild place, you will see it's not real blatant right in your face, but right here, right there will be one of these occultic knickknacks, and the whole thing is really creepy. That's it in a nutshell. Creepy.
Now, it's the Russell Trust. They set up Skull and Bones, didn't they?
Yes. Interestingly, the logo of Skull and Bones, we generally associate that with pirates, but back in the 17th, 18th century, Masons used that logo, and if you were buried, they put a skull and bones. It looked like what we think of on a pirate flag. They put that skull and bones on a Masonic graveyard. The point I'm making is the interconnections between all these things. When you start seeing them, it starts blowing your mind, and you start realizing it's all one big slimy gooey mess that's interconnected. You know, you start looking at one thing, and you start seeing some other aspect of the New World Order. It all ties together.
Fritz, I was just thumbing through your book here for people watching on TV, and I remember reading this in the late 90s and thinking it is ridiculous to claim that the royal family is German in England. I mean, I knew that was true, but it's ridiculous because I knew they were German. And then the main line for all the other royal families, because they killed off all the other lines on record, to say that they were connected to Dracula and that the other royal lines, the Merovingians themselves, so they went back to Dracula. And then now that's all over mainstream news for about 5 years. MSNBC, you name it. Prince Charles now admits, yes, I go back to Dracula, and he's got a house there and hangs out in Transylvania. I mean, it is just in the Carpathian Mountains. And how did you stumble upon this in your book? And then I want the guys to search engine Prince Charles, Royal Family, Dracula, and show people. I mean, again, I remember reading this in like 1998 or so and going, oh, come on. Royal families, a bunch of Dracula. Give me a break. They're not, and sure enough, they're not even a German royal family. And it turns out they're not even really from that area around Romania today. It turns out they're even more ancient family. And it's just wild.
Yeah, I was looking for their heritage, is the way I came across it. It's because I had quite a bit of informants that were telling me how the center of power for the Illuminati is headquartered in London. MI6 is used by the Illuminati to daily send messages throughout their empire. They use the secret societies and the intelligence agencies to communicate with their far-flung worldwide empire. A lot of things are actually communicated using human messengers, surprisingly. And so I was trying to understand the British royalty better because I began to realize that they played an enormous big role in this whole thing. And it wasn't by accident that the British ended up with this huge worldwide empire. You know, people who don't realize that there's a hidden hand behind history would think, well, it just happened that this little island ended up owning controlling a third of the world. Well, actually, it didn't just happen. The international bankers in Venice, the Venetian bankers, intentionally gave the English some technologies, cutting edge military technologies. The Lantine sail, they provided them with the money to get special longbows. The longbows that the English used were a superior weapon, far superior to the muskets that Napoleon's army
And the
used.
British knew about scurvy and vitamin C hundreds of years before anybody else. That's why they're called limeys. They could be 5,000 miles from home ready to fight, and the Spanish or others would, have open sores dying because they didn't know about vitamin C. I remember you and others talking about how the Masons and others back to Egypt, and now they've proven it with the jade and the genetics in Mexico and other areas. There was worldwide trade before that. It turns out Columbus was given maps, and they already knew all that. That they had just in the Dark Ages purposefully given everyone false information, and we're now ready to create the new Atlantis in North America, and now that's all coming out. And they're digging up Vikings all over North America.
Yeah, exactly. The Greeks, the mathematicians, had a very simple way, using very simple high school level geometry, using high school level geometry and angles. It's very easy to figure out what the diameter of the Earth is. And they had figured it out fairly accurately.
Yeah, they taught everybody it was flat as a joke. I mean, it's like telling everybody fluoride's good for you, or Cass Sunstein saying the sun's bad for you. I mean, they just, it's all part of their enjoyment. I mean, they could tell people monkeys can fly and they'd believe it if it was trendy.
Yeah. Well, they told us that the Apollo spacecraft went to the moon. And then I went to Washington, D.C., to the Air and Space Museum there, and I looked at that Apollo spacecraft that supposedly went there, and the thing's not protected from the Van Allen radiation belt. The guys would have been fried. I mean, once I started trying to put the pieces together, they didn't come together. I'm like, this is bizarre.
But the intel I've got, Fritz, is they show us a fake space program because, as we know now, they've got 30 years advanced technology at least, and they don't want you seeing what they really got.
Exactly. You are right on track with that. It's all just a big show just to, it's really a magic trick. These guys are magicians. Watch my hand over here and then what I'm really doing is with my right hand, but watch my magic trick over here, and you won't see it over here. So we're all distracted with the bread and circus here. Meanwhile, they carry out the real reality over here.
Well, Fritz, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Encourage everybody to love life, to love reality. Don't let them traumatize you to the point where you give up on reality and take one of these alternatives like spending the rest of your life in front of the boob tube, or turning to drugs, or all the other crazy alternatives to check out from reality. Love life, people, and that right there would make a big difference if people would not allow the traumas that they inflict upon us to beat us down.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because it's not even about material wealth. They want to make us poor so that we're dependent on them. They don't want us to have that basic sustenance so that we are strong, because then we can worry about higher things and then try to help others. They want us so desperate on the treadmill. But I'm glad you at the end of this interview, bring up this point, because so many people hear my show and they say, this is all scary. Are you trying to scare us? It's the opposite. I believe in people's passion, their courage, and that, as Patrick Henry says, if you know the whole truth, you want to make preparation for it. Whether I was here telling you this or not, whether Fritz was here telling you this or not, reality's still there. And so, yeah, we all grow, we all learn. I mean, I read this book 14 years ago and thought, this is crazy. Prince Charles is not a secret bloodline to Dracula. And then I went to later, you know, a decade later, Ancestry.com comes out, and turns out they're all a bunch of Transylvanians that then connect into Egypt before that. I mean, it's incredible. And then now I learned the Queen even says that. So it is beyond bizarro. It is beyond crazy. Reality is so much stranger. And I know that when we're covering these scary things, you know, there's robbers out there, there's killers, there's home invaders. So you lock your door at night and you got a gun. Not because you're in fear, you're in power. You're standing up and saying, I'm not going to be a victim. And so we're here risking our lives. I've been threatened with prison, attacked. They tried to set me up. They got you. I read the case, just cartoon level. You know, how ridiculous. Known informants, felons, lying on a guy years after the fact, sending you to jail, no witnesses after, you know, except for these people of robbing a bank when you had, you know, 17, 18, 19 books, speaking to thousands. I mean, you know, hotter than a firecracker. And you're supposedly, while this is going on, robbing banks. I know they'd raided your house, tried to say you were growing marijuana, but couldn't find proof, and said you had extremist books in your house because they were pulling some. Of course, you're reading things. I mean, it's amazing, Fritz, but here you are back, and it's just a testament that we're risking our lives to bring people this, and I wish it wasn't true, but we can't be like children and live in make-believe. Reality is what we must face. And Fritz, we're going to end the interview here in a moment. I hope folks get the book at INFOWARS.com. And, of course, my two films that are on one DVD, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove and Order of Death, that combo this, are also available at INFOWARS.com. But 60-second closing statement, Fritz Springmeier.
Wow. Love life. Keep your hope. Don't get beat down in life. We all have to go through problems, but use your problems for the best, and keep on trucking and find the positives. We got to take the good with the bad, and that's, I guess, my final bottom line is I want to give everybody hope and encouragement. I'm not without having to go through my own problems, as you heard right at the beginning of this interview. I had to deal with them taking everything I had in the bank and just taking it without any explanation. They wouldn't even tell me why. But it's turned out they returned it. But these are the things that we have to deal with and not let them intimidate us. Thank you.
Well, well said, Fritz, and stay safe, and we'll pray for you, pray for us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this extended Friday edition of InfoWars Nightly News. Of course, I'll be back this Sunday and every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, Infowars.com audio streams where you can listen on your local AM and FM dial, and back Monday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern, all on XM channel 166, your local AM and FM stations, global shortwave WWCR, all listings on the listing page at Infowars.com under Listen. Again, the fact that we're getting on so many stations, the fact that we've got so much support, the fact that Ron Paul is surging despite all the attacks, it shows that liberty and freedom and truth is popular, and evil has looked invincible many times in history. It's only when we say, okay, whatever, invincible or not, I'm coming on straight on against you. That's when we always turn the tide. And it's certainly all about testing us. Great job to the crew. Don't forget we're running a 15-day free trial deal. If you're watching this out there later, free on the web, want to become a subscriber, see it first, along with the films and so much more. 9 years of material at PrisonPlanet.tv, and support alternative growing media, then please do so. And we're running for one more week that early bird special. That is 44% off a year membership, also at PrisonPlanet.tv or InfoWarsNews.com. Great job to the crew, dedicated folks. Couldn't do it without them and you, the viewers and supporters. Please spread the word about everything we do. Check out our Twitter at twitter.com/RealAlexJones, and also the Facebook as well, and the YouTube channel. Just one of our YouTube channels is right at 180 million views. All right, God bless you all.